What's going on, everyone? This is the Fraser LeVay podcast. It used to be the best travel podcast in the universe, probably. But we did a little bit of a name change because I'm adding in sports, nonsense, and all else. But today we're sticking travel. And I just want to do a quick hitting podcast about the best places where you should go in Costa Rica. I get this question all the time. I've now moved to Costa Rica. So I want to give you just an easy answer. The first two places you have to go are Manuel Antonio and La Fortuna, two of the greatest regions in the world. Just so much activities, so many activities, so much to do. I will say real quick that Costa Rica is just ridiculous with charging for everything. It already, I think, is the most expensive Latin American country. Uh, it's kind of like, I guess, Tulum or Cabo, like sort of higher end touristy places. You pay a lot, or versus Peru or Guatemala, Colombia, very cheap for the most part. Uh, Costa Rica is very expensive. So in Costa Rica, they do this thing where they charge for hikes and every park, which I guess in the US, you have to pay sort of a national park fee, but it's just your one car. And then you're in the national park and there's a ton of hikes. I know I was just thinking Zion, I guess, for instance, you have to get a permit for some of their better hikes now. But even then, those are like world life-changing hikes, like Angel's Landing and the Narrows. I don't think you actually have to permit the Narrows to the subway. But anyways, the USA is the most capitalist place on earth, and the fact that they don't charge for this kind of stuff as much as Costa Rica does is insane. Costa Rica charges for like $25 for every thing you want to do, which if you have a family, like $125 to go into a national park is insane. So you think it's cheap once you see your hotel's $100, $200. Flights are not bad into Liberia or San Jose. But then once you rent a car, get around, it really adds up. It is a great place for families, I guess, but just don't expect to save a ton of money or to be a cheap vacation. Like La Fortuna, go to my website, inspiretraveleat.com, for the best things to do in La Fortuna and Manuel Antonio, because I'm going to forget a bunch of stuff right now. But there's 4 or 5 incredible hiking areas to go, like volcano hikes and the hanging bridges, those kind of places, and they all charge. And not only that, if you don't rent a car, which always rent a car, even though it's expensive, then you need a guide to take you. And then the guide is an extra double the charge. So everything's just, it's not a hurry up and wait, it's a hurry up and spend. It's just, everything costs. It's outrageous. Even like the hot springs, obviously those should cost, but you can't do stuff in La Fortuna without paying for it, which is sad. Where you go to places like Sedona or San Diego, you can kind of do all these outdoor things for free pretty often, where you can't do outdoor things for free in Costa Rica, which seems backwards. I kind of ranted before telling you where to go, but La Fortuna and Manuel Antonio, hands down. Manuel Antonio is one of the coolest regions on Earth. There is the national park, which I don't say get a guide often. At least one of your trips, one of your tours or activities, I guess, use a guide. So you can see all the fun things you would never notice by yourself. Like you'd never see the snakes, the bats, the butterflies, the sloths, some of the monkeys that are sleeping without a guide at all. So get a guide for that Manuel Antonio National Park to see the most animals you will ever see. I think it's like the most animal dense area in Latin America, something like that. Outside of obviously maybe like the Amazon jungle, but yeah, it's really incredible all the things you see. And use Paddle 9, paddle9.com, I think is their website, or see my social media for it. They do all these trips. Manuel Antonio, they'll take you to some waterfalls that are incredible and gorgeous, that are half day or full day trips. The park, the beach is so beautiful in the water. You can surf, you can kayak, you can paddleboard. There's so much to do in Manuel Antonio if you're an outdoor person, if you have kids. Great restaurants with beautiful views. If you want to eat like a local or eat high end or in between, There's a fun little bar there in Salina. So there's so much to do if you are an outdoors person. It's one of the most beautiful stretches of land on Earth. So much green, gorgeous water. You can go fishing if you're a fishing person. I would go, don't go for less than 10 days to Costa Rica. Try and go for 14 plus and spend half your time in Manuel Antonio, half your time in La Fortuna. La Fortuna again, waterfalls galore. Also, before you travel to Costa Rica, you also need to remember it takes time to get from one place to another. San Jose to Manuel Antonio is 4 or 5 hours, 4 to 6. And so you land at whatever time. You may have to stay the night in San Jose, which isn't the greatest place on earth, and then get to Manuel Antonio, and then Manuel Antonio to La Fortuna is again 5 to 7 hours, I want to say. So that almost wastes by the time you pack up your hotel, the checkout process, go where you're going, check into a hotel, which is always a process, unpack. You've lost a whole day. I mean, maybe you can get dinner and such, but you may be grumpy if you're with a significant other and you've traveled all day and someone forgot something and whatever else. And morale is low. The travel day morale is always low, so keep in mind you will lose a day on travel. So have lots of time. Don't try. My point being, don't try and go to Manuel Antonio, then go to La Fortuna, then go to Nosara, then go to. Don't hop around. Just enjoy a couple places. Both have everything. If you want the beach trip, along with adventures, you've got Manuel Antonio, and then you go to La Fortuna, which is the volcano and waterfalls galore, hot springs to see, just so much natural beauty. And like I said, there's like 5 or 6 hiking areas to go to that are really cool. Some are next to the volcano, all are next to the volcano, and have beautiful views, the hanging bridges. Uh, and I've got a bunch of secrets, like secret hot springs that are open to the public that you don't have to pay for on inspiredtravelite.com. Just type in Manuel Antonio into the search bar, or sorry, La Fortuna in this case. You'll find a bunch of stuff to do. But search both because there's a bunch of great stuff to do. Um, Again, the people are amazing. It's safe. Those are the first 2 places you need to go. Places not to go. I should have started with this if you're still listening. It's only 7 minutes. You're still listening. Do not go to Jaco, which is Jaco, Jacko, however you want to pronounce it. Do not go to Jaco. And do not go to Tamarindo. If you listen to any of my other podcasts, you know not to go to Tamarindo. Both are just awful. They aren't places you want to go. They're just tourists, dirty, the drug dealers on the corners, and people of the night. Just lots of stuff you don't want in a nice vacation. People are playing. I went down yonder on the Chattahoochee, loud as can be. The beaches are terrible. So if you want a beach destination, like I said, go to Manuel Antonio. But if you want just not a ton to do, there's still the ATV tours. There's maybe yoga, but less adventure. You just want a relaxing beach vacation. Then Nosara, or where I live, Samara, are 2 of the best, most quintessential beach towns on earth. If you're a great surfer, or even just want to surf, a decent surfer, Nosara is one of the best places for surfing in the world. It's especially for just like beginners. It's got incredible waves, the best sunsets, good food. It's a very sleepy town. So if you're looking to party, it's not the place. Salina does have, music goes a little bit late, but it shuts down at 10 or 11 some nights. It's not a huge party town because everyone's waking up early to do their yoga retreats or their or surf, which is like a 5 a.m. thing, or fishing. Great fishing as well. So it's not really, if you're looking to party or want nightlife, it's not the spot for you. But if you want a relaxing beach vacation, then yeah, Nosara is a busier. Samara a little bit less busy, and more nightlife, which is odd. Just goes a little bit later on the weekends. But Samara is like 5 streets. It's great. If you just want quaint, small, tiny beach town, Samara is your spot. And Nosara, I would say Nosara is like Tulum 20 years ago. So I mean, Tulum's nice. I go a bunch. I went there 20 years ago. Amazing. Now the cenotes are basically public swimming pools where there used to be only a couple people. Now there's hundreds in them. Obviously, restaurants are 10 times the cost of what they used to be, and they're all, the Americanish restaurants that charge crazy amounts. But yeah, so those are the places you need to go if you have not been. Next, you can go to like the Monteverde Cloud Forest, but make sure you do La Fortuna first. Also, Rincon Forest, another great little spot. These are all near Liberia, which you can fly into the Liberia airport, and then you're only a couple hours from each of these places. So yeah, I just want to give you some quick hits because people ask me all the time where to go in Costa Rica. The Caribbean side is also beautiful. Again, there's a ton of waterfalls and forests everywhere in Costa Rica, so you can find amazing stuff on the east side as well, on the Caribbean side, nice beaches. But for the most stuff to do and kind of the curated a bit more for tourists and stuff, go to where I mentioned. You will not regret it. It will be more expensive than you think it could be, but if you want a great vacation, Costa Rica is a spot. Just a quick summary. I was just giving you a summary. I've got a ton I could go on and on each place about. But if you want more info, inspiredtraveleat.com. This is the Fraser LeVay podcast. We talk travel, sports, nonsense. Thanks for listening.